what's up? OCD Mikey, Hi-Fi Guy for another Mikey show. And for part 3 of Hi-Fi for Dummies, I am going to let you know about the gear finally and what the gear is all about. I am going to break it down for you in the most simple way to understand high-end audio. The industry will have you think otherwise. We have been trained to use really big words and fancy terms for things to fluff you so that you will spend more than you need to and you'll spend compulsively and what have you. The bottom line is we will use big words to pretend like you can't understand what we're talking about. It's real confusing and we have a better grip of it than you do. That's all hogwash. It's baloney. Here is how it works. You take a little teeny music signal, you make it louder, and you play it on speakers. That's it. That's all our system does. Does not matter how freaking big, how complex, how many boxes you have and wires in this giant room with all this stuff. All this does is take a baby signal of music and make it louder and play it on speakers. That's all we do, okay? That is it. So I'm going to take you through my equipment now and show you in my rig how it's done. Now, it can be done in many different boxes, or it can be done in one box. It all does the same damn thing. If you do a simple system and you buy well and you buy the proper stuff, you will not need all the little teeny boxes, all the power supplies, all the extra cables, all the reclockers, all the special power supplies and all that crap. That is all BS to make crappier stuff sound better. Even all the way up to MSB and DCS when they try and sell you a reclocker and all this stuff that makes it so much better. That is a marketing farce, okay? Why don't they just make their stuff better? But they give you all this extraneous crap so you can, it's upsell, upsell, upsell. You have to understand this is a money business, okay? And all we're doing is making music louder, taking a little signal. You can get that little signal in many different ways. My preferred way to get your little baby signal is to get it from a computer. For now, let's go over the equipment so you can just understand it very easy. So here we start with the computer, which is on the top. That is a Playback Designs streamer, also known as a computer. All this thing does is take the internet on the back. We take Ethernet, or the internet, that plugs into this box, and then this box spits out a digital bit stream of music. That's the baby music signal that I'm talking about. Because it's coming from the internet, it's a digital signal. We cannot hear digital sound. We can only hear analog sound. So this digital little baby signal needs to be put into a second piece called a DAC, DAC, which stands for Digital to Analog Converter. And this box here is the heart of the system. This is the most important part of a digital rig. This is 90% of the sound of the digital rig. This up here is 10% of the sound of the digital rig. So really, if you're building yourself a digital rig, you want to put the most of your money into your DAC, because the better the DAC sounds, the better the system's going to sound. This is the governor. It sets the pace. You cannot get a sound better than your DAC is capable of. This is the best one in the world that I've found, Playback Designs MPD-8. Okay, so not only is this DAC a world-class converter, but it has a really world-class output section on it with a terrific volume control. So this means that DAC piece that's in the middle, this MPD-8 right here, this piece also has a volume control, and it's a digital preamp. So you can use it to switch between sources. If you have, let's say, a digital tuner, if you have a CD player, and you have a streamer, and you have a TV, and you want to plug it all into this DAC, you can plug all that into the DAC, and then control the volume with it, and do the conversion right there. So it has an input, and the input is just one digital cable that comes from the computer, and it comes straight down to here, and then it's converted. Now it has analog. Analog is only known in left and right. Okay, remember, we're talking 2-channel. We're not talking movies, home theater. This is for 2-channel high-end audio purists. So there's only ever left and right analog. That's all we're concerned with. So coming out of this box is, you can see that checkered cable right here. That's the left side. Then there's the right side right down here. And these are the XLRs that feed the next step, which is the power amp. That's this piece right here, this Viola Lapse Cadence. This is what makes it all louder. So again, at the top, we take the computer signal, the tiny signal, we bring it down to here where we convert it into analog, and then we give it a little teeny boost on the way out with the volume control, and it comes to the input of this power amp. This power amp then is able to power and push the speakers, the TAD speakers that you see here, the ones on the stands. And you can see the speaker cable is going over to those speakers. So this amp here is got a very symbiotic relationship with the speakers. You need to put these two together to be perfect. You need to match the amplifier and the speakers because they have a symbiosis that they need to work together. They need to be properly matched. If they're not matched, it'll sound horrible. It'll sound distorted. It may blow your speakers because it's underpowered. You need to overpower your speakers. I'll get into all this stuff later, okay? But the bottom line is it comes here to be stepped up and then to power the speakers. So, again, in a nutshell, this whole system, a whole high-end hi-fi system is 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. If we really wanted to, we could do it in one box, okay? The way I have it set up, it's in 4. We could do it in 5. We could do it in 8. We could split this out in as many boxes as we want to. Here's the coolest part about it. Samsung Galaxy tablet. You know, this is the remote control, if you will. So we've got here, okay, it knows who I am. It's got all these different artists. These are the albums that I have in my collection, 10,475, 130,000 tracks, 538 composers. And it's going to give me different things that I've played recently. It's going to show me albums that are new releases for me. It'll show my daily mixes that it compiles for different things. Jethro Tull Boston, things that I've listened to or whatever. It gives different, these are playlists that are made by Rune playlists, made by Rune DJs. Tells us the stats of how long I've been listening and what type of genres. And it breaks it up into my top artists and top albums and everything. Live radio, you can listen to radio on this thing. And then there's different genres in case I'm looking for genres, different artists, recommended artists, you know, all this kind of stuff. So let me show you simple. Let's say I go here, I type in Bob Marley, right? Marley, R-L-E-Y. Okay, so I type in Bob Marley. It's going to show me the artist, Bob Marley. I pop it up. Now it's got Bob. I hit discography. Now it's going to show me every single album that they have, you know, and this is between 2 services and my own collection. So on my own hard drive in my office, I have all my music, 4 terabytes or whatever. And then so this will pull results from 2 different online services, Qobuz and Tidal, and then as a third from my own collection. So it'll pull all this. These are all the records that I can listen to, okay? And it just goes on and on. I mean, this is like Japanese imports, you know, I mean, it's got freaking everything. Let's say I pick Confrontation. Okay, it's loading the album Confrontation. And I want to listen to this album. It's made in 1983. Now, if I scroll down, these are all the songs. I can play all the songs. I can add them into a playlist. These are other recommended albums for me that are like the album that I just chose. So similar to Bob Marley Confrontation is Black Uhuru Sinsemia, Damian Marley, Mr. Marley, Peter Tosh, Equal Rights, and it gives me all these different Funky Kingston, Toots and the Maytals, Jimmy Cliff in concert. So I can check out other stuff, Steel Pulse, which I just recently saw. So I can check out any of these different albums that are recommended that are like what I'm listening to. And all I have to do is hit them and bam, play now, and I'm listening to it right away. So I go back, this will tell me these are the people that are credited on Confrontation. So down here are different artists. So let's take, for instance, Junior Marvin. Okay, so I hit Junior Marvin. It's going to bring me to this artist page, okay? I can also hit discography. It will show me all the Junior Marvin solo albums. That's just showing you how I can explore laterally when I'm listening to music. It makes exploration of music, which is one of my favorite things to do, is to explore new music. It makes it like a cinch, and it's the best thing about streaming is to explore new music. Now, not only can I look at Confrontation, this album here, but I can go to versions. Now, this shows me versions. That means I've got one Tidal version, one Qobuz version. These are FLAC 1644s. But if I go to other albums, let's say a more popular album from Bob Marley, let's say Legend, let me guess how many versions we have here. We probably have a ton. Okay, so here's from my collection, FLAC 2496. Also in my library, FLAC 1644. And it shows the dynamic range is 5. This dynamic range is 4. It gives us an idea of dynamic range of the albums that I have in my collection. And then there's 3 title versions. Okay, we can play, all of them are FLAC. One is MQA 2496. One is FLAC 1644. The other is FLAC 1644. Maybe they're different mixes. And then 3 Qobuz versions. 2496 FLAC 16. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different versions of this album that I can listen to. So, and all of this I can do instantly like this with my finger. It is so much more comprehensive, so much more efficient than having hard media that you have to look for in a collection, pull it out, take it out of its case, put it into a CD tray, press play, go back. I mean, this is so much better that there's no argument that you can make against this. And if you try to, you sound like, I'm not going to use a word. You're entitled to do whatever you want. But my music listening with streaming is so much more comprehensive than any sort of physical media at all. That is all there is to a hi-fi system. It's not incredibly crazy. It's a very simple process. We make it more complicated. Dealers and sellers are going to try and make it seem complicated and huge, and the magazines are going to make it seem like you don't know what's going on. I know it's confusing, but I'm going to break it down for you and give you the brass tacks and how simple this really is, so you can see that it's completely fluffed industry made to fluff you so that it can bilk your pockets. I don't know how else to say it to you. I'm just giving it to you straight. So thanks for joining. I appreciate your time. I will be back with more Hi-Fi for Dummies. See you.